Could Jacob Ramsey be heading to Newcastle United? I'll take that, but not with Harvey Barnes going the other way. Let's get stuck in. Hi everyone, welcome back to Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with the Rumour Has It video where we're talking about players linked to the football club this coming transfer window, which is technically shut, but technically not shut. As we said in the previous video, I don't know what the hell these people do with the transfer window. I don't think they know either, in all fairness. But Newcastle United have been linked to that many players. I'm starting to lose count. How many are we actually going to sign? Probably not a great deal, I'd imagine. But we've been linked to a lad that we've been linked to before. And one of the big reasons I think he has been thrown back into the media spotlight is because his current club could be in real trouble financially. Now, some of you Newcastle fans will laugh when I say this. I don't have as big of a problem with them as a lot of Newcastle fans do, but Aston Villa could be in real trouble here financially with the bullshit rules of PSR and FFP. Don't take my word for it. Take the word of financial guru and someone we've had on this channel a couple of times, who's a top bloke, Kieran Maguire. So Kieran Maguire has been talking in media outlets, as he often does, because he's like the oracle of football finance. And as I say, a lovely bloke as well, by the way. He really has been so generous to give us his time a couple of times. And I can't speak high enough for the guy. He's an absolute legend. But he has been talking about Aston Villa and how much in the shit they are. So he was on Sky Sports. I've got the comments here. And he just said he thinks of the 20 Premier League clubs, Villa are the ones who have to be most concerned about PSR. He said last season, when they did qualify for the Champions League, for every £100 of revenue that Aston Villa brought in, they spent £91 on wages. Those players have had contract step-ups for qualifying for the Champions League. And remember, Villa have done very well in that competition, so that will be a plus. And they've sold some players as well in both the last summer market and the January run. But, this is the big but, Kieran says, but I think there's still the perception that Aston Villa have to box clever. And of all the clubs under pressure to sell players by the June 30th deadline, I guess they're the ones who are the club that gives the most attention, because their spending in the last couple of years before getting to Europe was so extensive. So, yeah, not good reading for Aston Villa, to be brutally honest with you. Not good reading at all. And that is when all the players have been linked. So, Emi Martinez has been linked to an exit. Now, Martinez was the best goalkeeper in the world a couple of years ago. I think he's made some quite rickety moves this season. Aston Villa fans would let me know if they are in these comments. You're welcome in the comments, Villa fans. But I think he has made some mistakes previously. He's maybe on the way down. So if Aston Villa were clever, they might be able to cash in on Martinez, maybe send him off to Saudi, ironically enough, because PIF love to bail out our rivals, do they not? Here comes the PIF rescue boat to give you a big wad of cash for your players. Don't worry, you'll be above board. Thanks, PIF. Cheers. Can't spend any money on us, by the way, but they'll buy your players. So I think that might happen with Emi Martinez, possibly, and then Villa might go and get themselves another goalkeeper. Tielemans has also been linked to an exit. Tielemans has had a good season. I like Tielemans as a player. When we were linked to him, I said I liked him, but he does give off that mercenary vibe. He really does. Like somebody come and say, well, Gia, double your wages, Yuri, all of this. I love Aston Villa pounding the badge in the Champions League. Will suddenly be like, oh, right, okay, how much are you going to give me then? Cheerio, bye-bye. And off he'll go. He gives me that kind of vibe. But the big player for them and the pure profit player for them is Jacob Ramsey. So Jacob Ramsey is the one we're talking about here, and the lad who's been linked to Newcastle United. Now, there's been a little caveat in this. A lot of fans have jumped upon this. I did put a post on our X account about it. I don't do a lot of X these days because I find it a little bit vulgar, a little bit meh, to be honest with you. But there was a nice interaction to that, I must admit. There was some complete knackers on there, as you always get on X, when I said Harvey Barnes is the second best finisher in the club. Thankfully, nobody really responded to that person's post because they're clearly thick as fuck, because Harvey Barnes is the second best finisher of the club next to Alexander Isak. Some people would say he's a better finisher than Alexander Isak one-on-one. Go back and look at the body of evidence. Maybe they are right. But Jacob Murphy's already our player. Jacob Ramsey, that's going to be confusing with signing. So Jacob Ramsey is an Aston Villa Youth Academy player. Now, this is his stats up on the screen here. So you can see he's been at the football club. He's only had one club, 174 appearances, 20 goals and 17 assists. Now, looking at him last season, 29 appearances, 1 goal and 3 assists. Now, that's all right. It's not great for a midfielder, but what does he bring as a player? He's 24 years old. So he's still a young player. He's got pace. He can get up and down the park. He's a good runner, as you can see in the kind of movements there. His progressive carries are all right. They're fairly decent. He gets stuck in and tackle. He's not scared to get on the ball. So he kind of close down players and get stuck in. So he's all right with that. His pass completion is really high. He uses the ball very tightly, 98th percentile. Assists, 65th percentile for centre midfielder. So he's all right in that regard. He can play on the left as well, and he can play through the middle. as a midfield 3. So 30 million quid is a reported fee for Jacob Ramsey. And I don't think that's a bad fee for a player like this. A player who, has had under 21 caps, should have senior caps in all fairness, but that is an incredibly saturated area for England, always has been, really. I mean, you've seen some great midfielders over the years who didn't get caps at all. I remember when Kevin Nolan couldn't stop scoring for us, couldn't get a sniff in the England team, to be fair, because of the players in his way. Granted, they were Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard, slightly better than Jacob Ramsey in all fairness. But I like the player. I think he's a good player. His goals very low on those stats, and when I talk about the other the other potential caveat of this, that will make no sense as to why that's plausible. The XG is low on 11 percentile. Shots on target are very low. So he's not an attacking midfielder, really. He's a kind of guy who'll work hard, get on the ball, make things happen. His passes is quite low, his touches is quite low. So as a midfielder, they're not great stats. I've seen there's better stats for midfielders in the Aston Villa team as well, to be honest with you. But he's on 70 grand a week. 30 million quid would be the fee. His contract expires at the end of June 2027. And I think he's a gettable player for Newcastle. Now, for me, Jacob Ramsey, make sure I get that right, Jacob Ramsey would be an upgrade on Joe Willock. I think he would play in a similar position to Joe Willock. He gives you that pace, he gives you that energy, he gives you that ability to get the ball at the park, give you some energy in the game where you're struggling, maybe off the bench as well. Maybe alternate midfielders, give Joe Linton a rest, or Bruno a rest, or Sandro a rest, and bring in Jacob Ramsey alongside Louis Miley, maybe people like that. So it gives us more of a body of work underneath the front three midfielders, which we all know are the front three midfielders. But, Sean Longstaff looks like he's about to leave the football club. Joe Willock injuries have completely curtailed Joe Willock's progress in the Newcastle team. Was a great player once upon a time, but doesn't have the same impact. For me, Jacob Ramsey would be a Joe Willock replacement. And if you can sell Joe Willock to Palace or Fulham for 20 or 25 million and get Jacob Ramsey in for 30 million, he's got a much better injury record than Joe Willock, then I think that is clever business. The bit that I can't get my head around at all, to be honest with you, is this proposed swap deal that a lot of fans seem to be on board with for Harvey Barnes. Now, this is Harvey Barnes' stats here, if you haven't seen these already. Now, Harvey Barnes, fuck me. He's had 5 clubs, granted, but, 324 appearances, 79 goals and 47 assists. So look how many more goals he's got than Jacob Ramsey over. Yes, granted, a few more games, but look at the stats per 90 minutes from the last year. Goals, 84th percentile, XG 81. Now, Ramsey was firmly in the red there. Goals to shot ratio, 70%. Shots, 89%. Shots on target, 72. Assists, 57. Expected assists, 73. Pass completion, 61. Touches in the area, 91. Progressive carries, 80. Carries in the area, 86. Tackles are low and recoveries are low because he's a slightly different player to Jacob Ramsey. But if you look at the comparisons there, it's night and day, man. We shouldn't be swapping a player like Harvey Barnes for Jacob Ramsey. That just does not make any fucking sense at all. 9 goals and 4 assists and 33 appearances last season. Harvey Barnes was quality for Newcastle last season in key moments when we needed him to be. This makes no sense to me at all. The only way it would make sense is if Harvey Barnes was homesick for a move back to the Midlands, which he's not, clearly, by the look of it. He just seems to be enjoying his football. Big smile on his face. He's shooting your bow and arrow. He's loving life. So, doesn't he go back to the Midlands? This is weird that Newcastle fans have jumped on this. I don't get my head around it at all. Everybody seems to be so desperate to drive Harvey Barnes to Villa Park. I just can't understand it. I really, really can't. You look at the interceptions and tackles and things like that, the recoveries that Ramsey scores a lot higher on and slightly higher on pass completion, but all of the attacking threat that Harvey Barnes brings you as a player, why the hell would we want to trade that in, for a Joe Willock replacement, as well as selling Joe Willock? That makes no sense to me whatsoever. It really, really doesn't. And that is a complete non-starter to me, a complete non-starter. I like Jacob Ramsey. Would I want him at Newcastle? Of course, yeah, I think he's a really good player. I think he would fit in really well with the dynamic of our squad. He's got a lot of quality skill sets that Eddie Howe would maximise and get the better out of him. I think he would improve him as a player as well. Get him in the England team. That's what a lot of these players like Jacob Ramsey, 24, wants that England call-up, wants those caps. I still can't believe Jordan Henderson's getting in the fucking England team as well, by the way. That's another argument for another day. Players like that shouldn't be anywhere near the England squad. Thomas Tuchel, what are you doing? But someone like Jacob Ramsey wants to be an England player. Louis Miley wants to be an England player. They've got the best manager to do that for them. Look what he's done to Tino, Hall, Dan Burns in the England squad, Gordon's in the England squad. If Barnes keeps going the way he is, he'll be in an England squad soon enough, because I can't see how you can ignore Harvey Barnes. But for me, Harvey Barnes is too valuable at Newcastle United. His goal record, his involvement, his impact in games, be it off the bench when he saved us last season, like Wolves and West Ham game when he did that as well the season before, or towards the end of the season, his brace against Manchester United, his massive goal against West Ham in the lead up to the cup final. This is a quality player. He needed a run of games to find his stride, to get his mojo, and he's got it. And to be honest with you, Anthony Gordon didn't deserve to get back into the side over him. Gordon was poor in large spells last season. The body language wasn't right. I've talked about before. Before anyone accuses me of wanting to sell Gordon, I don't want to sell Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon's a great player, and when he's at it fully tilt, running at people, there's probably nobody better on the left-hand side. I'd like Barnes and Gordon in the same team, but Eddie can't seem to crack that nut because you move Gordon to the right, it gets huffy. Barnes is better on the left. You move Barnes to the right. He's not as impactful in the game. So this is the issue that we have. I mean, I just wish Harvey Barnes was a right winger because we'd be laughing, wouldn't even be looking for a right winger now. We'd have probably the best left winger and one of the best right wingers in the Premier League, but that's not the case. So I still think Gordon could go if Liverpool bid. I still believe that. I hope I'm wrong. I want to see Gordon in black and white next season and doing really well, and Barnes as well for that matter. But I still have my doubts about the Anthony Gordon one. But going back to this one about Jacob Ramsey, 30 million quid for a player like that, I would take that all day long. I think he's an excellent player, but no way in hell would I swap him for Harvey Barnes. Let us know in the comments below what you guys think. Would you swap Barnes for Ramsey? Do you think that's a good deal? Tell me why if you think it is. And if you don't think it is, again, tell me why. I like to hear both sides of the coin. Keep it clean, guys. Keep it above the belt. No reason to attack anybody in the comments. We've got a nice community here. We talk about football. No reason for anybody to dig each other out. That's not the place that we build there in the community. It's a safe haven for chat about football. That's what we need on socials and YouTube these days. Don't need to be abusive. Go on X if you want to do that. There's plenty of dickheads lined up to slag people off on that platform. But yeah, let us know what you think. Ramsey at Newcastle. Barnes, would you keep him or would you trade him in? And I'd like to know why. Like and subscribe, guys. Keep it ever more. We're close to getting up to that 11,000 mark. We're only 470 off or something like that. So yeah, we're very, very, very just literally gone over 10,500. But get us to 11,000, guys. We'll have a belter prize to give away. Keep it ever more. Keep watching. We'll have loads more Rumour Has It videos. Hopefully, when we do get a signing, we'll be jumping on here talking about it. And I'm sure me and Mark will have a chewing the fat session very soon live where you can come and join us. So thanks for watching, guys. Keep it ever more. Have a cracker. See you later. Cheers.
Heroes celebrate. They have done it.